Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on whenever you're watching. Thank you for tuning in to the Restricted Zone podcast on YouTube. I'm your host, Jonah Wooten, and this is episode 127 of the Restricted Zone podcast, and episode number 6 on our wrestling playlist. Yeah, we 6 episodes in already, and guys, a lot has happened in the last month since we did our SummerSlam predictions episode. We've had 3 pay-per-views across AEW and WWE. CM Punk, Phil Brooks, once again without a wrestling home. What did he do? We're going to get into it, but we can't talk about anything else before we get into this. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the untimely, unfortunate passing of one Bray Wyatt. But before we get into any of that, before we, dive into his career and the memories that he gave us as a performer, I want to introduce my co-host for tonight. Seem, introduce yourself.
What's going on, man? Talking wrestling, love talking wrestling with you guys. It's been a minute since I was on, but ready to get to it. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Greg, introduce yourself. Stop being dramatic, man.
My fault. I'm wilding.
You good.
Listen, what's up with y'all, man? Long time no see. How y'all doing? Coming to you live from the 215. Just happy to be with y'all today, man. Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Yes, sir. And Chris hopefully will be joining us later in the episode. He was running a little bit late, he's at the gym, getting the pumps in, doing this thing. I think Greg was just coming from the gym too. I've been in the house all day after work. I ain't the working out type. I need to get on it. Yeah, you see the
listen,
20-inch pythons, man. I gotta get in on that.
Let me tell y'all something. All right, when y'all hit y'all mid life crisis, your quarter life crisis, which is about to be, I'm about to turn 25.
It's real. It's real, by the way.
It get real. You like, yo, I'm fat. Like I'll be eating too much. Like that's when the motivation comes. You feel me?
See, that's me, but I'm just too lazy to do anything about it. That's my problem, man. I'm toxic trait. That's crazy. But anyways, let's get back on track here. Bray Wyatt, Windham, Rotunda, and I'm sorry, by the way, that we're even this late talking about this, but we had to talk about it. He passed away almost 2 weeks ago, August 24th, from a heart attack. It was caused by complications from COVID, as reported by Sean Ross Sapp. And Bray Wyatt, born as Windham Rotunda, he leaves behind 4 children. He was only 36 years old at the time of his passing. Leaves behind 4 children, 2 of which he had with his partner and former WWE ring announcer JoJo Offerman. He also leaves behind his father, Mike Rotunda, better known as IRS, his brother, Taylor, known as Bo Dallas in WWE, his mother, Stephanie, his uncle, Barry Windham, wrestling legend. And in the afterlife, he joins his grandfather, Blackjack Mulligan, another wrestling legend, and also his fellow Wyatt family brother, Jonathan Huber, better known as Brody Lee in AEW, Luke Harper in WWE. One half of the Wyatt family gone, just like that. Is unbelievable. Sad, tragic. 3 years apart between those two, and it just adds to the list of all the names that we've lost in the wrestling business so far this year. And it seems like these lists get longer and longer each year, and it's just like it's pretty depressing, but it's life, And we've lost superstar Billy Graham, the Iron Sheik, Bushwhacker Butch, Lanny Poffo, the brother of Macho Man Randy Savage, Jay Briscoe at the beginning of the year, among others. And yes, it's a part of life, unfortunately. But death is kind of what gives life meaning. It kind of, it makes life precious, So just remember that, You never know when your time is coming. We had no idea that, we know that Bray was dealing with some sort of illness, but we were getting updates that, he was ready to come back at any time. And just for this to happen just out of basically nowhere, just very shocking. So, tell your loved ones that you love them every day. Make sure you let them know, because life is very short. It's very unpredictable, and death is permanent. So, with that being said, seeing, I'll start with you. Just, I guess, your thoughts on, what's been going on in your head the last couple of weeks. Any memories that you have of Bray Wyatt. Favorite matches or segments or anything.
First and foremost, just rest in peace to Bray and condolences to his family. That was a father, and it always sucks to lose somebody like that who's so young too, only 36 years old. He was always one of the most unique minds in wrestling, and I feel like he never really got to reach his full potential, whether it was to booking or to just maybe his ideas being a little too complex. But you always recognize his creative genius and just being so different from everybody else. When I think of Bray, I always think back to his Eater of Worlds days and his feuds with the likes of Daniel Bryan and John Cena. And Daniel Bryan in particular, I always think to that steel cage match he had. I forget who he had. I just remember the yes movement right after, where Bryan turned on him when the crowd was going crazy, and their match at Royal Rumble was killer. And his feud with John Cena, man, it was a great feud. I think people kind of forget about it. I thought it ended with John Cena winning. I don't think John Cena won that match, but it was a great feud nonetheless. And obviously the Fiend character, which and it didn't get to the point where it probably should have. And I would definitely blame booking for that one, but just like the beginning of it and how intriguing that character was, and something so fresh and so new, and something we just haven't seen before. And that's always with something we've seen with Bray, whether it was good or bad. It was just something we never seen before. He was always coming up with unique ideas and unique characters, and man, definitely gonna miss him. It's crazy because I remember around WrestleMania where when they started saying, oh, he was dealing with an illness or whatever, and he started missing time, but never did anybody think like, man, he's gonna pass away or lose his life. And when the news broke, it just came out of nowhere, man. It was no build up to it, no lead up. It just came out of nowhere, and it's just a sad moment overall. It sucks we never got to see Bray really go deep into where he wanted to go to it and deep into his potential. But I can definitely say I'm happy with what we got, man. He was a great wrestler, great mind. From the looks of it, just from what everybody say, a great person overall. Everybody who's talked about him has said he brings the joy up in everybody. He was a great father from what everybody said, a great husband from what everybody said. Just rest in peace, man. And obviously, like we said before, condolences to his family, his children. And like what Jonas said, man, just hold your family dear, man, because you never know. You never know. It can happen any day of the week, any second. It can happen like any time. So just hold your family dear. Tell them you love them. If you got anything to say to anybody, make sure you let them know, because you never know.
Beautifully said, man. He was a former WWE champion, former two-time Universal champion as a Fiend, former SmackDown Live Tag Team champion Randy Orton. Greg, just any, like I asked him, any just, memories, feuds, matches, segments that come to mind?
Yeah, I just remember, I don't know, this first championship win at Elimination Chamber when AJ was going for the phenomenal forearm, and he caught him and he hit him with the was it
Sister
wrestling with the
Abigail.
Eater? Okay, Sister Abigail. I was gonna say the Eater
Yeah.
of Worlds. It was
That should
like,
have been a finisher, man. That would've been
yeah. I just feel like I just really didn't see it coming. Like, it's at a time where like AJ Styles had established himself at like, even before the Eater of Worlds, and like character and gimmick of Bray Wyatt. And like I just thought it was just gonna be another opportunity of like wasted opportunity to get Bray over that they were gonna waste. And like when AJ went for the phenomenal forearm and he caught him and he hit him with the Sister Abigail and it actually went to 3, I just remember being so shocked. And I just remember everyone like that first SmackDown afterwards, everyone telling him that he deserved it, and him just kind of like he's supposed to be the heel, but like just like taking in that moment, like I will never forget that. And I honestly felt like he should have won at WrestleMania. I don't understand why they didn't allow him to win. Like, I feel like all of Bray's wins, like the preceding like matches to follow, all of his championship wins were always so like left you feeling like you wanted more. That Seth Rollins victory came after the match where like he should have won, and then they kind of like screwed him out of Hell in a Cell, like and then that final one, like he only held it for a week. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like all of his like moments in glory, like were always so short lived. And I just feel like he deserved like an extended run. And I just feel like he always found a way to invent himself, because even when he came back, that like Firefly Funhouse was like some of the most like engaging like content. Like it was supposed like he really started that off as like more of like a mid card like type of like um a mid card type of like role. When he came back, like it was being like those Firefly Fun Houses were being aired like midway through the shows and stuff like that. But like I saw myself, even when I wasn't watching Raw, like I was going on YouTube and I was watching what happened at the main event, and I watched what happened whenever he did his job with the Firefly Fun House. So I thought that was like, it was just a unique way to like reinvent the character. And I just felt like he always found like unique ways to have matches. That match with John Cena at WrestleMania, like I thought was just like a really cool meshing of like two worlds and stuff like that in the COVID-19 era. So it's just like, I don't know. He just never got his just due. And like you always just felt like the next one was going to be the one, until that either found a way to like not give it to you the way that you wanted, or it just got short lived because like of an injury or a scenario or something like that. So I feel like, Bray deserved the world, and he got more than most wrestlers do within the WWE. But I feel like with his talent, with his like creativity, like he deserved that much more. He should have been like a multi-time world champion with extended reigns.
Absolutely, and you mentioned that Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena. First of all, those segments were consistently like the best thing on Raw every week at the time. Like they were just wacky, out of this world. Like to someone who wasn't a wrestling fan, if they were like tuning in for the first time watching that, they'll probably like, "What is this? Turn the channel. This is weird." But but for us, like us wrestling fans, it's just like, man, like as weird as this stuff is, it's like it's something different. It's creative, and that's just who he was. That's who Windham Rotunda was. He was just creative, one of the most creative minds in the history of the business. And man, it's like that match with John Cena was personally my favorite WrestleMania 36, because it's like, I mean, it's kind of hard to pick a favorite match from that card because it was just like, COVID era, warehouse, everything was kind of just like last minute thrown together. But the Orton and Edge match was pretty good, and another cinematic match between Undertaker and Edge was also good. But
AJ Styles.
yeah, AJ Styles. Sorry, Undertaker and AJ Styles. That was pretty good. For Undertaker to go out on that high. But my match of the card was that Firefly Funhouse match. It was just so weird, and I loved it. It was weird in a good way, like kind of just like poking fun at Cena and his whole career, and
go like a deep dive.
Just like that, like this psychological warfare that he was performing on Cena, and actually getting the win, getting his win back at WrestleMania against Cena. I thought that was just really poetic for him.
You could tell Cena was having a lot of fun just working with him and doing something.
Yeah. Because I don't think a lot of top stars will be willing to do something like that. Kind of just poke fun at themselves and take the loss in the match. Like, I thought that was just brilliant. It was brilliant writing. Of course, it's not like a technically sound match. It's a cinematic match. There really weren't any moves or holds, but it was just entertaining. That's the whole point. Like, that's what the E in WWE stands for. It was entertaining. And to lose a mind like that, it's a big blow in the business. Not to mention, the day before he passed, we had already lost hardcore legend Terry Funk. And he passed at 79. So it's like, okay, well, he at least got to live his life. As sad as that was, at least he got to live his life. Bray Windham at just 36 is just unbelievable. And I don't know if we'll ever have a mind that creative in the business again, honestly. Um, and also another person I'm thinking of course, his family and close friends, Eric Redbeard, otherwise known as Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman. Those two guys losing both of their Wyatt family brothers like that in a 3-year span. I really just feel for them too, and it was really classy for WWE to have them come out and be a part of that tribute show on the SmackDown following his passing. So, and the show itself was very, very touching. Um, them leaving the rocking chair there after the 10 bell salute with the spotlight, I thought that was just like a beautiful tribute to Bray. And man, it's like we're never going to see that rocking chair again. We're never going to see that lantern again. We're never going to hear "I'm here" or "We're here" again. We're never going to hear. We're never going to see the Fiend again. Like it's crazy. It really is. It's sad, but like you said, I am happy that despite some poor decision making by the creative team and the booking team, that we did get the moments that we did get from him, and we just got to just cherish him and go back on YouTube and just just rewatch and just reminisce. Any final thoughts before we move on? Or?
Yeah, real quick, I know he's a little before our time. Break. We're talking a lot about Break just because that's who we grew up on. Even it's a rest in peace, Terry Funk. When I think of Terry Funk,
absolutely.
When I was younger, going through on demand on cable, whatever you had, and going to, I remember I would watch all these matches. I remember one specific match. It might have been, I don't know if it was ECW, just some random territory, but I just remember watching Terry Funk versus Mick Foley in some hardcore match, and I was like 7 or 8 years old watching these guys put thumbtacks on their heads and stuff like stabbing each other.
That man was crazy.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, it's like obviously we don't know much. Me personally, I don't know much about Terry Funk. He was a little before my time, but you could still recognize the impact he had when you just hear about wrestlers talking about him. Like, yeah, rest in peace, Terry Funk. I wish I got to grow up on him a little more. I'm definitely wanting to just go back and watch some of his stuff, man. Go back and watch some of his stuff. Terry Funk is
absolutely. And before ECW really took off and blew up in the mid '90s, he took a chance on them, and he helped to elevate all those young guys in ECW. So shout out to him for doing that. Shout out to him for giving that small promotion formerly known as Eastern Championship Wrestling a chance and kind of helping them usher into that extreme era that we all come to know and love. So a hardcore legend in his own right. I don't even know if we have Mick Foley without him.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you, Terry. Thank you, Bray, for everything. And it's just sad, but at least Terry, as I said, got to live his life. Bray just not only in the prime of his career, but in the prime of his life with 4 young kids. It's really just a shame, but I do want to move on because we do have a lot more to get into here, and hopefully if he can make it in, I'll let him, share his thoughts as well. But for now, we're going to pivot into it's not sad news, but it's frustrating news, and that's Phil Brooks. Seem, I know he's your guy. Phil Brooks, CM Punk, terminated from his contract this past Saturday, September 2nd, just a day before the all-out pay-per-view in Chicago in his hometown, and hours before Collision that night in the same building. This firing stems from a backstage fight that he had at the All-In pay-per-view with Jungle Boy Jack Perry at Wembley Stadium in London. And AEW president Tony Khan, he had made a PR statement, and he also, before Collision, pre-taped a slight segment where he explained his reasoning for the firing, explaining that, AEW's legal team consulted him and advised him to make the decision to let go of CM Punk. And he also stated that he felt like his life was in danger during the altercation itself. whether a monitor fell on him or whether he was trying to calm Punk down before his match with Samoa Joe. Punk, he actually, after the altercation, went on to go wrestle his match with Samoa Joe at All In.
It happened before.
It happened before his match, yes.
It happened before the match, and he went out afterwards.
He went out and just, because, you got to, I guess, the show goes on mentality. You got to go out there because you were advertised. It's just crazy to think that he's coming out and he had no idea, that he was just tussling, scuffling with Jungle Boy. And then, I wasn't there. I'm not going to judge Tony Khan like I wasn't there. None of us were there. We don't know exactly what happened, but he claims his life was in danger. Maybe that's just him saving face for making a move. I don't know, but CM Punk is gone, and Jack Perry currently is suspended indefinitely. I guess the real AEW World Championship is just gone now, and I guess that's just not a thing anymore. I knew they were going to set up a match with him and MJF sooner or later to determine the real world champion, but now we won't have that. There's so many dream matches that we won't get now with Punk leaving AEW. So, Greg, I'll start with you because I feel like you're a little less unbiased with this. I'm going to start with you. Was this the right move for Tony Khan to get rid of CM Punk?
Yeah, I feel like CM Punk honestly has morphed himself more into a diva than I felt like he was at any other point in his life. Because the whole shtick with CM Punk was that he was underrated. Okay, because here's how I looked at CM Punk, and I know this is a wrestling podcast, but we got to use football analogies for this. CM Punk, for most of his,
this is a sports podcast first and foremost. So
fair enough. CM Punk, for real, in his WWE run was basically like a fourth to seventh round wide receiver, trying to get playing time on the field, trying to earn his stripes. Like, he working hard, he doing all the gritty stuff. Like, he was running special teams. He did ECW first. He came back to the ECW champion. You know what I'm saying? Made his way, like, 2-time Money in the Bank winner. Like, you feel me? Do all that just so he could have a spot on the team. Solidified his spot. Got a contract. You feel me? Got a contract extension. Now he one of the main people on the squad, main people on WWE, one of the faces of the company, longest reigning WWE champion, one of the longest reigning WWE champions in modern history.
Once he cut that pipe bomb, it was over.
Once you get that second contract, the first contract is like, yo, I'm here. I'm just happy to be here. Once you get that second contract and it's like major dollars, now you I've arrived. I've entered my diva prime. So he went from being like 7th round draft pick to turning into Terrell Owens. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like his AEW run felt like he transitioned from being the Terrell Owens from
the DL of wrestling is not a horrible analogy, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he went from being like University of Tennessee Chattanooga, you know what I'm saying? Like HBCU to being TO, like with the Cowboys, like get your popcorn ready, like Tony Romo, that's my quarterback. Like he started doing too much, and it's like every single time now you hear all this like ruckus and stuff like that, where it's like now I remember dropping everything that I was doing to watch that whatever the Friday night show was for All Elite Wrestling. I forget what I'm blanking on. Rampage. That first episode of Rampage. When CM Punk came, I remember like posting it on my story. I don't even use social media like that. I remember posting on my story like, yo, this is like top 5 moments. Like, I never thought I would see this again. Like, him walking down the aisle, telling Darby Allin, come get some. Like, you feel me? Like, come get this work. Like, I'll see you next Saturday type vibe. Like, I remember all that. But it's just like every single time he couldn't stop himself. He felt like he was top dog, and he felt like he could just talk to anybody all way. He always was getting a confrontation. If they wasn't trying to do it his way, he always had beef. And it's like, bro, why always gotta be beef? Why can't you be vegan? Why can't you be vegan? Why can't you be, you know what I'm saying, like pescatarian? Why always gotta be beef with somebody? You know what I'm saying? Jack Perry is just the latest and greatest form of who you got beef with every single time he steps into this ring. The list goes on and on. It's like, bro, you're supposed to. He said he came back to be a voice for the locker room. He said he came back to, like, you know what I'm saying, like, help the new generation of wrestlers out. And then his last way of him going out is fighting Jack Perry, who's trying to make a name for himself in AEW. Now you just
because of some
talking about
snarky remark that he made during the pre-show of All In.
facts. He said this is real glass. He looked to the
Crimea
camera.
River.
He said this is real glass, pointing to the car. He deserves to get fought off that. Like, come on, CM Punk. What are we doing? What are we doing? Now you TO. And now when we talk about greatest of all time, it's gonna take you, you know what I'm saying, your third year to be in the Hall of Fame. Because you was on some weird stuff. But you had first round talent. You had first year eligibility talent. But you on some nut stuff, bro. Like, and I can't get behind that. I can't get jiggy with that.
I mean, this comes basically a year after the whole Brawl Out thing, after the All Out pay-per-view in 2022. I mean, at some point, enough is enough. I feel like numbers-wise, it's going to hurt the company in the short term, but I feel like long-term for the locker room is going to benefit them. Because it's like, as Mark Henry said, there's no excuses now. Like, it's not going to be just kumbaya in the AEW locker room, but there shouldn't be any more of these type of instances in the AEW locker room. You got the quote-unquote cancer out of there. You cut the cancer out of the body. Now you can start the healing process. But do you think, business-wise or whatever-wise for this company, was that a good decision by Tony Khan?
Well, first and foremost, I think you guys know I'm a big CM Punk fan. All time, I think besides
As Jeff you should be.
Yeah, I think besides Jeff Hardy, he's definitely, he'll be considered my favorite wrestler of all time. Just like, yeah, I love CM Punk. But also, I can acknowledge that in his short time in AEW, he's been nothing short of problematic for them. With the Jack Perry stuff, with other reports coming in, it's looking like CM Punk wasn't necessarily in the wrong for what he did. I guess maybe he's in the wrong for starting the physical altercation of it. But just from other reports saying like Jack Perry came up to him or something like that, like, you don't know what to believe. Regardless of everything, it seems like every time there's a problem, there's a common theme, and that CM Punk is a part of it. And whether it's because there's a lot of reports saying that there's a lot of guys in AEW who were like trying to just poke the bear and just try to get a reaction out of him. Regardless if that's the fact that they constantly got a reaction out of him, when you're supposed to be this 40-year-old pro, is like, come on, man, we better. We gotta be better. But I will say, I feel like AEW's problems are a lot deeper than just CM Punk. I think Tony Khan has lost the locker room, and I feel like there's not really much respect for him at this point. I think there's a lot of petty drama in AEW, even beyond CM Punk. Like, obviously, CM Punk, there was a lot of stuff towards him. A lot of people didn't like him, but there's also a lot of people who did like him. You heard just as many people who have something bad to say about him. There's just as many people who come and defend his name. I think CM Punk had the right intentions when he came to AEW in terms of wanting to be that locker room and wanting to make good business. But there were just times where I feel like he got his feelings hurt. He's always been an emotional guy and always wear his emotions on his sleeve. And yeah, man, CM Punk just could have went about going about things just a lot better than he did. I always think about the all-out cursing out the company and saying that the company ran by children right next to the boss. Like, that was crazy.
God, mouthful of muffins, just running down his executive vice presidents, like executive vice presidents.
Yeah,
which is kind of my problem. Like,
yeah,
they should be. I mean, Kenny Omega has kind of been out of the way, so to speak. These past few months after his suspension, but the Young Bucks. I mean, these guys, talented wrestlers, one of the best tag teams on the face of the earth. All right, but for them to still hold executive vice president, to still hold that title after everything that's happened, seeing how they're acting after the firing. I think it was after the Collision show. One of the Jackson brothers is doing victory laps in the ring. It's just like, it's immature. Like, these guys, like, you're grown men. Like, they're young. I know it's in the name, Young Bucks, but you guys are grown men. your executive vice president shouldn't even be getting themselves close to an altercation, let alone, being, in the actual altercation, throwing chairs, Ace Steel biting people. Like, I'm just thinking back about that brawl out skirmish. Like, there was an actual dog in the room when the fight was happening, but Ace Steel was the one biting people, not the dog. Like, and he was fired for that, and I think he was brought back, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't know why he would be, but it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if there is a locker room leader. I mean, you have guys like Mox and Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson in that locker room.
They said, tell me, after the All Out stuff, they said those guys did try to step up and get the locker room to come together, and they did say that. And I don't know. I feel like with the CM Punk stuff, I feel like most of the stuff he didn't really start it. It's not like he is just going out looking for. But the thing with CM Punk is, once he gets rubbed the wrong way, he takes it to 100, and it's hard to that's the problem. It's not that CM Punk is just out here starting problems with everybody. It's just once the problem starts, he takes that problem and he brings it to the public eye. So like, I can see why he was fired. It's probably good for CM Punk to get fired. He obviously going through it. He didn't like where he was working. I mean, it is what it is. I just think AEW probably could have went about it a little bit better. In terms of how the impact is, they'll be fine. They have a lot of stuff there. They don't need CM Punk. Obviously, CM Punk is good for business, but like they'll be fine. I think it's like much of a worry that CM Punk will be gone. I think Tony Khan needs to get it together. I think he needs to get a grip on that locker room, because I feel like a lot of people saw that all-out presser and just how Tony Khan let CM Punk get away with so much and think, oh, you let him get away with all this, and we could do whatever we want, man, because you let him do it. Like, you let him talk shit about you right in front of the whole media, talking shit about you, talking about the company's ran by children, and the boss is sitting right next to him.
Exactly. Because he calling his MVPs children. He's saying that they couldn't even manage a target. You're basically saying that your boss did a bad job of hiring him to his face. Like, essentially, that's what he's saying. Tony was just sitting there, not like saying a word. Like,
throwing little shots at him. Whenever Tony's talking, you see the Punk rolling his eyes.
Craig, why you making that?
What? You're 40, bro. Come on, though.
Yeah, man. It's.
With that being said, I do hope Triple H picks up that phone and calls him over.
Jumped the gun. I was about to say. It begs the question.
Yeah,
I mean,
obviously you have the stuff. He's a problematic guy, but regardless of anything, you cannot argue that CM Punk is he's still one of the best. Like, whenever he was on the screen, whenever he was getting going, everything he was doing was really good. Like, I don't think anybody can deny that. He was still putting on great storylines, still putting on good matches. Like, when he's out there, he's one of the best. It's just
the MJF feud was money.
CM Punk is the Kyrie Irving of wrestling right now. And not a lot of guys named like too promising, right? But they could acknowledge that talent.
I mean, Greg, I saw you shaking your head as soon as he said Triple H. Like, you shaking. I mean,
you don't want to see him
dollars wise, business wise. Of course, WWE would do it, but
you don't want to see him on your screen.
Oh, what's the point? Because they're not gonna treat him. They're like, it's just gonna be another fight, and it's just gonna be another hard ending. Like, who is he coming back to fight? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people that he could potentially fight, but I don't necessarily think that they are. I don't necessarily think that they are going to have a mutual relationship that benefits CM Punk, because at the end of the day, Tony Khan gave him a lot of great feuds. Tony Khan gave him the opportunity for him to talk as much as he wanted to on a week in, week out basis, and he gave him an opportunity to become the world champion. I feel like if Triple H wasn't even willing to give a lifer like Edge, who battled back from like a major injury, if he isn't even willing to give Edge the opportunity to like win a championship, don't get me wrong, they gonna force feed you CM Punk in the beginning. They're gonna put him in like these different feuds. They're gonna give him an opportunity at Roman Reigns or at Seth Rollins, whoever the champion is, but he's never winning. and he's always going to be the bridesmaid, never the bride, and that's going to last the first year, and then they're just gonna like move him towards the side, you know what I'm saying, and then give him these like side feuds and stuff like that. Like, like I think they haven't even give Finn Balor the proper opportunity to like be a champion again. Like I like, and I'm not saying Finn and CM Punk are on the same level, but I just don't think that CM Punk fits the criteria of the star that they are looking to promote, because they're looking for future stars, not trying to hold on to the past as much anymore. And you could make that argument with someone like a Brock Lesnar, because he going 45, 82, Brock Lesnar going to look like a beast and he going to act like a beast. But CM Punk's style, his in-ring ability has declined in a sense where for the AEW environment, it works, but for him to really put on a show the way he is able to at this age in his career, I don't think WWE provides that opportunity. And I think the style of AEW more so fit what he was trying to do. And because he's lost that, I think WWE would just be more much ado about nothing. He gonna give you a pipe. He gonna pipe bomb you every week until you're tired of the pipe bomb. But then after that, nostalgia wears away. He's just gonna be another wrestler, and he's just gonna be tight, and then he's just gonna go away.
Man, I gotta disagree with you on that one, man. I feel like Punk is more than just a pipe bomb. He's like a great storyteller, bro. Even with AEW, he has some amazing stories. He's still working the ring. He still has some good matches there. You can't deny that. I think even with WWE, he would still put on some good matches. And to the point of him being mad that he might not get a world title or might not be like positioned, I feel like with AEW, he didn't really care about that. Like he wasn't worried about, oh, I want to be the world champion. I want this, that, and the third. His stuff was always just little locker room stuff and having beef with people. Like Punk was never worried about him being positioned anywhere, bro. He just opened the show. Like he didn't care that he wasn't the main event of All In. Or he never, even when he won the world title, he said he didn't really want to win the world title. That's what he said, at least. You take everything with a grain of salt, but just like I never coined Punk to be a liar. And he said he came in there not really thinking about being the world champion or trying to be the top guy. He just wanted to help make some money, help do some good storylines. I think he would do the same thing with WWE. I don't think he would go in thinking like, oh, I got to be the world champion now. I got to be world champion a year from now. I think if Punk is just put in a position where he's telling good stories and he's satisfied with what he's doing, we'll see about the locker room stuff and just having beef with people. But just like in terms of just a storyline standpoint, he didn't really have a problem with it. Just from what we've heard, like, he didn't have a problem with not being the main event of a pay-per-view or something like that. He did what he did, and if he enjoyed it, he enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've seen.
This is like a severe sidetrack, but to your point, Gray, it's crazy that Edge never got a world champion, like another like world championship run in his second run, but Bill Goldberg did. That's crazy. I'm sorry to bring it up. And speaking of Bray Wyatt, rest his soul, like really, Goldberg beat the Fiend in Saudi. Like that was really one of the worst booking decisions.
Like, is he really about to beat him? Oh my God!
I forgot that was his first loss.
Like,
wow!
Oh my God!
With the uni? Oh,
like you already kind of killed the Fiend character of Hell in a Cell when you stop the match. It's Hell in a Cell, and they call it match off, which is just asinine.
Right, he takes too much damage.
And then he won the title the next pay-per-view in Saudi, Crown Jewel, and then he loses the belt in Saudi. I forgot the other pay-per-view that they do over there, but oh my God, man. He won the belt in Saudi Arabia, lost it in Saudi Arabia to Bill Goldberg of all people, who could barely get him up for a jackhammer. Man, I'm sorry. I just had to like get that off my chest because that's just incredible. But going back to CM Punk and AEW, I mean, Collision was their Saturday night show. It was just kind of like wrapped around CM Punk. It feels like that show was kind of made for him to kind of keep him separated from the rest of the locker room who would normally show up on Dynamite, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. So, I mean, now I'm hearing reports that Bryan Danielson will kind of be the new face of that show. Do you think that show will be able to survive without Punk, or is it kind of a lost cause?
It'll be fine, man, because AEW is stacked with talent, and they were gonna do Collision with or without CM Punk. It was just kind of just like, well, it's convenient that CM Punk's coming back. We could just put you on this show, let you do your thing over here. We let them do it there, but whether CM Punk was coming back or not, they were always gonna want to do Collision. The network wanted them to have another TV show, and they just want to give more guys opportunities. I mean, Collision has been beneficial for like guys like Miro, for guys like Bullet Club Gold, who, by the way, Jay White, before he came to AEW, I didn't really get it just because I don't really watch New Japan like that. After watching him on Collision, bro, I get it. He's a star, bro. He's a future champion over there. Jay White is him. He's so good. But yeah, back to Collision, they'll be more than fine. And I remember I was having those questions too. And then literally once I seen Bryan Danielson, I'm like, what do they have to worry about? Like, these guys are so stacked with talent. So stacked with talent. It's
That was a
ridiculous.
nice little surprise for them to come out like that for Ricky Steamboat. My God. From to come out for Ricky Steamboat and accept that challenge with Ricky Starks for a strap match at All Out. So that's a great segue. We had 3 pay-per-views in the span of 8 days, 7 days. We had All In Wembley Stadium, and then the very next week, I personally kind of don't understand the logic of doing 2 pay-per-views in back-to-back weekends, but AEW pulled it off and were fairly successful. They had All In and then All Out the week after in WWE. The day before All Out on Saturday, hosting Payback in Pittsburgh, All Out in Chicago. So, I mean, going to All In, because I was first, they sold 81,035 tickets. That is a record, wrestling record. WWE, they've had bigger attendances, but like those WrestleMania shows, but a lot of those tickets were given away. These were all sold tickets for AEW at the gate, and they had a buy rate of between 168 to 184,000. So successful on the pay-per-view front as well. So just some notable matches from that show. FTR, they retained their AEW World Tag Team titles over the Young Bucks. Saraya won the AEW Women's Championship in a questionable decision. In a fatal 4-way. Yeah.
What? I didn't know that. I thought I did not know that.
Saraya is the women's champion.
Bro, you thought she was gonna go? You thought she was gonna go to Wembley Stadium
and then
country. Not win?
That's why I'm just shocked that I don't know why I didn't know that. I thought that
she defeated Tony Storm, former champion Hikaru Shida, and
that's a questionable one right there. I don't know about that one, Tony. I don't know about that one.
Look, we'll see. We'll just see. I'm gonna be nice and just say we'll see. CM Punk in his final match in AEW retained the Real World Championship over Samoa Joe. The Acclaimed won the AEW Trios titles over House of Black, and MJF retained the AEW title against Adam Cole in the main event. A tremendous match with a tremendous story.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful story.
Let's just talk about, bro. MJF is so good at everything. He's just so good. He's so good, bro. And this little baby face run he's had, it was always questions about when he can do it. He is such a good baby face. He's good at everything. MJF is like the best in the world, but I don't care. He's so good.
The best baby, bro. I swear, the best heels end up making the best baby face.
He's so good, always. Bro. He's so good.
But it's like, yeah, I can't put it into words. And the best heels do make the best heels do make the best baby faces, but I feel like for him, I really just didn't see a pathway.
Because he was such like an outright ass. Exactly. But the fact that he's a babyface, but he's still managing to. He's just like leaning into the truth. But he's still the same character. He's just like, I'm gonna lean into the truth a little more, do that. Or it's crazy. I remember when Adam Cole and MJF first started their feud, and you knew it was gonna be a good feud just because it's 2 great wrestlers. But like, you didn't think they were gonna have this tag run and it was gonna be an MJF babyface turn. If you told me at the beginning of that at the end of it, Adam Cole might end up being the heel and MJF being the babyface, I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? And now we're here. Now it's like, oh my God, when is Adam Cole going to turn or is MJF going to turn? It's like, you just don't know. And they've done a great job with this storyline, man. It's the best storyline going on right now, for sure. For sure. It was a great match.
Your thoughts on that match and that finish, and after the match, just the storytelling aspect of it. Because the match itself was great, but the storytelling.
I really thought Adam Cole was going to turn on him. You know what I mean? Like I really thought that's how it was gonna end. And then after the match, when Adam Cole was like going through the realization that he actually lost, and then like, you know what I'm saying, MGF trying to cheer it up, like, oh buddy, it could have gone either way. I'm like, this dude is trying to like, this is how great the storytelling is. The asshole is trying to console his competitor / friend who he just won the world tag titles with for Ring of Honor. That like, it could have gone either way. The dude that claimed himself to be the best, his belt is Burberry, his strap is Burberry. Like, he prides himself on being the best. Is telling another wrestler, it could have gone either way. But look, we still have the ROH World Tag Team titles. And then he throws and then Adam Cole throws the tag title out the ring. I'm like, oh, this is about to go crazy. And then, bro, and that hug, bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was at the gym, I was doing crunches, bro. And I was doing crunches, and as soon as like he turned his back and he was like, just do it. I literally stopped everything. I'm literally on the floor at the gym just watching this. And when he gave him a hug, bro,
Hold on. Time out. They had All In at the gym?
No, I'm watching it.
Oh, on your phone?
Yeah, I'm watching it on my phone.
Oh, I got that. I was about to say. No, I got you.
You trying to hold my spot up, damn.
Chill, bro. My fault. Bro, I thought your gym was like, I thought they was locked in.
They're not pro wrestling. They're not pro wrestling fans. But long story short, that hug, bro, I was like, dang. That's how you end the show in the crowd. And when the pop that he got, I was like, I felt that. No, that was probably one of the best endings of a pay-per-view that wasn't like a heel turn, like something crazy happening. That was probably the best ending to a pay-per-view I've seen in some time. Where it was like,
it's a good swerve because you were expecting just typical heel turn. You know, Adam lost. He didn't win the championship, so now it's like friendship over. But like, they stayed friends. That's the swerve. Like, that's a good swerve. Because you're waiting on Adam to say, screw this. I don't care about the tag titles. All I really wanted was that world championship. I didn't get it. I was just acting like I was just being buddy with you just to get that world title. I didn't get it, so screw you. No, like, they stuck together, and for them to do that, it's going to make that eventual turn hurt that much more.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you think about how MJF has been selling it, talking about Adam Cole, he's teaching me how to trust again. Like, I didn't have any friends before this. Like, I couldn't trust anybody, and Adam Cole is teaching me how to do that. And when he turns on it, I think Adam Cole is gonna be the one to turn. And when he eventually, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, overall, All In was just such a success. It's such a big move for AEW makers. Like, having a pay-per-view like that, that's their WrestleMania now. If they could continue going, that's their WrestleMania now. And just, I want to bring this up just because I know it was definitely intentional. Did y'all see Will Ospreay's entrance?
I didn't.
Y'all didn't see Will Ospreay's entrance?
Well, no, I didn't see his entrance.
Bro, his entrance was insane. He had the fireworks and all. It was crazy. And it was definitely like Tony Khan being like, hey.
I did see like them shooting fireworks off the top of the stadium like WWE does.
Yeah. Will Ospreay's entrance was.
I can't wait for next year. The link is going. Ooh. Because the Eagles like their fireworks, so you already know like what WrestleMania is going to look like.
CM Punk out to that.
Maybe MJF, man.
Maybe MJF comes to WWE. Huge, man. And something that's just as huge. If Will Ospreay comes to AEW, that's huge too. You
might as well stay over there, right?
I think that's why after this, you have to go and watch that entrance because that's definitely Tony Khan be like, hey, we gonna make it happen, man. We're gonna try to get you here. We gonna try.
Tony, he got deep pockets, so that pyro budget ain't nothing.
He gonna go deep into them pockets to try to get Will out. I'm telling you.
And also, I don't know if you guys know, but AEW, they already announced that he's going right back to Windham. They're running it back for All In next year.
Oh, they said it?
Yeah, so
are they doing
in Wembley?
Yeah,
they're going to run it back.
I think he said that they're going to continue to do the back-to-back weekends too, because he said he wants to keep All Out on Labor Day in Chicago and all that.
That just might be their thing moving forward. I mean, typically having pay-per-views is back-to-back like that just doesn't make sense. But I mean, they got away with it. I mean, it worked out.
To watch All Out, but a lot of people said just from like a in-ring standpoint, just front to back, All Out was a great pay-per-view. I want to give a shout out to Orange Cassidy, man. I know there's some people who are a little indifferent about him.
I want to get to that too. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of him. Had a fucking amazing reign with his international championship and just elevating that title to be kind of like their IC title, their workhorse title. So shout out to him, man. I think it was a good decision that if anybody's gonna beat him, wait it off. It was a couple of times where I really wanted Swerve to beat him. I'm a big Swerve fan. I think he's very underrated, but Jon Moxley being the guy to beat him keeps that prestige on the title. And shout out to Orange Cassidy, man. It was a little bit of
title defenses.
Yeah. And he really brought that title into relevance and like just shout out to him, man. It was a great run, man. Hopefully he gets some rest. Let him get a month off because he definitely needs it.
Yeah, I mean, when he won it, it was still the All Atlantic Championship, and then they changed the name to the International title, and it's like, all right, like this is like their IC title now, like their workhorse belt, and that I feel like that's what the TNT title should have been, but that's been hot potatoed, and now I mean the TNT title is gaining some relevance back now with Luchasaurus and Christian Cage. They're doing great things with that belt, but
doing the work.
Orange Cassidy kind of just like. He quietly had the best title reign in AEW history, dare I say. Quietly. I'm trying to think now, like, Jade Cargill,
Kenny
Omega's world title run.
His run was great. I think Moxley's interim world title, it was a little shorter, but it was a great run, too. He was having some great matches there.
Like, if you combine the length of the run with the quality of title defenses, I feel like...
Yeah.
Because I think Omega, he set the longest reign, just period, with any championship with the world title. But if you combine like the title defenses, the matches he's had with the reign of his championship, quietly one of the best reigns.
He's for it, bro. And
I think Orange Cassidy, he's quietly one of the wrestlers of the year.
But he's easily you gotta put him in that top 10, bro. Of the year, you gotta put him in that top.
When that PWI come out, he better be.
He gotta be in that top 10. He
better be. Yeah.
He has to be. Shout out to Orange Cassidy, man.
Absolutely. Freshly squeezed.
Continues to prove guys wrong. I remember when the AEW first came around, he's just like a comedy character. Now he's like one of their top guys, one of their top stars, and he just continues to do it.
Absolutely.
And that's development. I'm hoping to see the same thing out of Jack Perry, aka Jungle Boy. I was very disappointed in his I've been very disappointed in his character development thus far. And like when they did that 4 Pillars match, I felt like out of all of them, he's probably the least established. And I thought that feud with Christian Cage with Christian was gonna like propel him into like another stratosphere because you got somebody on the mic that's gonna force you to have to talk in a way that was gonna like elevate you, but it just got too complex for me. Like I was just like, I'm not as invested in this. Even when they brought his mom into it and stuff like that, like I really thought that was like I was just like this kind of feels like forced. Like this doesn't feel like authentic in a sense. So it was just like I don't know. Like I think Orange Cassidy is one of those people where it's just like you invest in somebody and this is the payoff. Like it's been what 3 to 4 plus years. It's almost going on 4 years, and like now we're starting to see Orange Cassidy in his greatest form, but like he's always had the ability to do so. MJF, like Darby Allin, like I don't know. I really want to see some more from I guess Jack Perry.
I agree.
Would it be disrespectful to consider OC one of the pillars over Jungle Boy? Just replace him?
Who?
I think OC like 37 though. He's kind of old.
Yeah, I mean, just like one of not in terms of age, but like in terms of just like the originals, I guess AEW originals.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely
in that sense.
He's done way more than him.
Yeah.
Darby.
Like that one title reign kind of just outshined anything Jungle Boy has done so far. All due respect. And he's been a tag team.
Darby had a great TNT reign too. It obviously wasn't as long.
No, I meant Jungle Boy, not Darby.
Oh yeah, no.
Darby, he's done great things with TNT.
Even without the reign, Orange Cassidy was already better than Jungle Boy. But that title reign put him into a new stratosphere for sure.
Yeah, I feel bad kind of just jumping on Jungle Boy right now, even like after everything that's happened. But I mean,
I see what you mean. Whenever I tune in and Jungle Boy's on my screen, I have trouble caring. I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad, but it's just the truth.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is.
You got time to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, he's how old? 26. I mean, he's got his whole career. He's 26. He's only a year older than me. Like, he's got his whole career to figure things out.
Yeah.
I don't know if a change of scenery is what he needs. He's got the heel turn, but it's kind of not moving me right now.
Yeah, it's not really hitting.
So it's like, I don't know what he needs. A championship isn't going to fix things. I mean, he won the FTW title and they got rid of it. So it's like, it's not even a sanctioned title. So it's like, I don't know if that's what he needs, like a singles title run. I don't know. Like a tag team, he's already done a tag team thing. Maybe a heel tag team.
Yeah,
AEW has like 100 factions. Maybe he can join a faction. There's so many to choose from. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what he needs.
No disrespect to Hook, but like, I feel like that FTR championship thing is just like specifically to him, to Dad, to Taz.
Yeah, like
even that like storyline was confusing, and then for him to just not only have it for like less than 2 months, like I was just like, okay, like
how did
that whole title was kind of like just a novelty thing, just like a nostalgia thing for those ECW fans.
I remember last year or a couple years, I forget when he came up, when Hook first started, he was popular as hell.
Bro, fire.
He was hot.
And I forgot.
I think it was 2021, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, right? And how did they? It's certain things like how do you? They had him and Danhausen have a tag match for one night, bro. They should have kept going with that because that was such a good thing going, bro.
Hookhausen, right? Hookhausen. That was a good, yeah. Like just those two like extremes working together is like it's that like pairing that shouldn't work and yet it works. Like dude was I hate to use this word, but he has like an aura to him. Like he's just like.
At least he did. I don't really. It's kind of like
bro,
he still gets a reaction, I guess. But like
if he hits the gym a little bit, you give him a mouthpiece, maybe Taz, somebody like he does like a boxer type gimmick, bro. Like he could be a star.
For sure.
Honestly.
Send the Hook.
I don't know what they're doing with Hook right now. I don't really know what the future holds for Jungle Boy Jack Perry, but we're going to shift away from AEW and finish up here with Payback. The third of our 3 pay-per-views that happened recently here. Some notable matches. Becky Lynch defeated Trish Stratus in a steel cage match to culminate that feud, arguably the match of the night. The Judgment Day defeating Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to win the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, another match of the night candidate. And Seth Rollins in the main event retaining his World Heavyweight Championship over Shinsuke Nakamura. With the Great Muta sitting right there in the first row. That's crazy. But it feels like they're going to run that back at Fastlane. So just your overall thoughts on that pay-per-view and the match of the night. Either one of y'all.
Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, I feel like that was probably the best Shinsuke Nakamura match I've seen in some years. And I think with Seth Rollins, like realistically, like Shinsuke hasn't been used properly as like to feel like a main event superstar since his debut between 2016 and 2017. So for me to say that really doesn't mean much because they haven't like used him as like an actual like threat. And I feel like his history just with like New Japan like should warrant like more consideration, especially with how much fanfare he could have, especially if WWE decided to ever like go to like Japan for a pay-per-view. That would be fire. But I think personally, so I think that match was fire, and I think because my expectations were low for that match, I think for what it delivered, I thought it was really good. I think it's only I don't know if I wanted to see a rematch. because I already know what the outcome is going to be. So it feels like we don't have a challenger for Seth, so we're just dragging this feud on. And like, what's going to happen? Shinsuke's just going to keep on sneaking up behind him and then just like hurting him, or like, like when did that become Shinsuke's
I
like
think that's
calling
the story.
card?
Like I feel like they're kind of building up to that. Like, all right, like he finally broke him down. Like Seth, he can only do so much. Shinsuke finally gets to win. I mean, he's got to win a world title at some point, man.
He's not.
He has to.
This is, I want to say this because you and Chris,
even if he holds it for like 2
bro.
months, I don't care, bro.
You and Chris keep on. Y'all want everybody to be Seth. Y'all got beef with Seth. Y'all don't like Seth.
It's not like it's not that I don't.
It's just,
it's not that I go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Like it's not even that. It's just like I don't know. Roman's already got a stranglehold on the Universal title. I mean, some guys just deserve a world championship.
You want me to be what it?
Seth deserves a good reign, man.
He
has one. He's gone over 100 days.
Yeah, he's had a good reign. One, he had a good heel.
You want him to hold it till Mania?
Yes.
One and two. I personally feel like Seth as a babyface champion loses it for me. Like Seth babyface alone, good. Seth heel alone, good. Seth as a heel champion, okay. Seth as a babyface champion, we don't need that. And honestly, I think Seth, if for real, I think Seth should hold the role that Shawn Michaels had. In my humble opinion.
All right, which run though?
I think post 2002, after that he won that last World Heavyweight Championship.
But he didn't need the world title. He was just having good matches.
Yes, from 2003 basically to 2010, Shawn Michaels was a showstopper. He didn't need the championship. And to be honest, I honestly think there were so many more people that could have used that championship than Seth Rollins. I said on this pod, bro, that championship like scavenger thing they were doing, where they were doing the little tournament, bro. Seth wanted, Edge wanted one final run. You have Finn Balor beat Seth Rollins. You have Edge win his triple threat. Edge versus Finn Balor. Current, you feel me? With the whole storyline between the whole what's the word? What's the not the bloodline? With the Judgment Day. You got that whole storyline. You let Edge win for like 2 weeks. And then Judgment and then and then Finn Balor finally wins back the title he never lost.
See, I was cool with Seth winning it initially, just as like a thank you for just like, just carrying
Seth deserved it, bro.
No,
like Seth, I'm not mad at him winning it. I just thought Finn should have won at SummerSlam.
What has Seth done with that championship that to like really make it that big of a deal that him just being a single star and having great matches could have done?
You don't think he's elevating that title?
Huh?
You don't think he's elevating the title?
I'm telling you, I don't think it was the time for him. He didn't need to at that point in time. It's a new championship. Get a new face in there. Make a new star.
It felt like Seth's time, man. I feel like he hasn't been champion for a minute before he eventually won. He was putting a lot of guys over. He lost how many straight WrestleManias before he beat Logan at Mania. I feel like he definitely deserved a run. I think he deserves a good run too, like not just 100-day run. I've been into. I think I'm not particularly into faking injuries. Seth doesn't need to be faking injuries, but just in terms of how Seth had been carrying himself with the title and the feuds, like I was into him and Finn's feud, how personal that got. I'm not into the whole back stuff with him and Shinsuke, but I'm into he's bringing a good side out of Shinsuke. I think this is out of all the heel runs Shinsuke's had, he's been doing good with this heel run right now. Even though I'm not really into the your back, I'm gonna break y'all. Y'all know you can't pick your baby up. This guy's picking up grown men and throwing them across the ring, bro. His back is fine. We all know that. I feel like they try. I don't like when WWE tries to force the underdog thing, especially with a guy like Seth who's clearly not an underdog. You don't need to force that. Yeah, I can see your point on that, but I don't think that's necessarily a knock on Seth. I feel like Seth's reign has been really good so far. I want it to last longer until Damian, I guess, is ready to cash it in and take it from him.
So you just feel flat out Damian should be the next world champion?
I think so. I think they have to do something with that briefcase.
As much as I would
Personally,
like,
bro, I want them to eventually turn heel on Damian and Finn to take the briefcase from him, and then Finn become the champion. That's just personally what I want.
listen,
Facts.
I wasn't gonna bring this up, but since you brought it up, I got a tiny little theory. You know, I've been seeing it on Twitter. You know, Damien, he got the new briefcase. He got the, JD, Finn's boy, by the way, gave him a new briefcase, the purple Senior Money in the Bank briefcase. And then they had a little backstage segment. I think it was, I don't even know if it aired on TV. I think it was like an internet, something for like the website, where Finn, he took the contract out and gave it to, out of the old briefcase, and he gave it to Priest to put into the new one. So I'm kind of thinking, like, what if Finn just turned his back on Priest and just switched the contract back into the old briefcase and just took that joint and just cashed it in. Like, I don't even know if he's allowed to do that.
Complex. I don't think that's.
It's overbooking. It's overbooking.
Yeah, it's definitely overbooking.
It will be fun. It will be something fun to do. Cause we never seen that. Cause the Money in the Bank concept is kind of worn out a little bit, and they kind of killed the concept itself. So it's if they I wouldn't mind if they overbooked that joint a little bit, do something creative with the briefcase. I just think that would be funny. But I don't know, with the World Heavyweight Championship, it's because I feel like Gunther has to win that belt at WrestleMania. I don't know why, but I'm dead set on Gunther winning the world title at WrestleMania.
I think he's eventually. I think there's something. I think that's why they want to give him this massive IC title reign. I honestly think people.
He's got to be world champion after this.
Yeah, I think Gunther's
not being Roman.
I think Gunther's getting to the point where his heel run is really starting. Because before it was kind of Gunther's putting on great matches, this and the third. But now it's starting to be now we're starting to get to points where it's I want this guy to beat him. I want this guy to beat him. And I think that's where it starts to get really good because I feel like Gunther's going to hold this title for a lot longer, even after he already broke the record. I think Gunther's going to hold the title until it's time for him to win the world title. And they'll be all right, we'll take it off you, and we're going to push you to be the world champion now. So I think Gunther's another guy who's probably going to be holding his IC title until Mania. And we'll see who beats him then. But, yeah,
I mean, he can straight up just win the Royal Rumble as Intercontinental Champion, and then
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was
or should Cody repeat?
Yeah, for a while I was on the Cody repeat, but after I saw Jay at Payback and at Raw, I really want Jey Uso to get it. I really want him to win the Royal Rumble, man. I don't know why. I really do.
Who?
Jey Uso.
There's a lot of choices.
I don't think he's going to win. I think Cody's going to win, but
this is going to be a great Royal Rumble because you have a lot of candidates this year. It felt like Cody was it felt like once they announced Cody's return last year, it was all right, he's winning that job. All right.
I ain't expect.
You got Jay, you got Gunther, LA Knight, Cody repeat. You got a lot of choices for the Royal Rumble this year.
I ain't see that move that Jay was going to go to Raw. That was a shock.
I like it though.
I do too.
It keeps you separated from the bloodline. Do something fresh with it.
Let him do his thing over there, then eventually get to him and Jimmy at Mania. I think it's good for Jimmy too because it gives Jimmy a chance to really start trying to cement himself because he didn't really get a chance to have his solo run. Jay is cemented. We know what Jay is. The crowd is feeling Jay. Everybody know what Jay going to do. I feel like Jimmy. This is a chance for him to prove himself to be all right, now you will top him on SmackDown. Let's see what you got going on. We're gonna do whatever. I think his first week was good too, coming out interrupting Cena and whatever that was, and just going around and just kind of being an asshole to everybody when he interrupted me and Yim and talking about something I don't know who you are. This and third, it was funny. It was funny, but so your point about the Royal Rumble. It's crazy to see, I guess, because WWE hasn't done it for so long. But Triple H is just getting the most out of his talent, and it's just like this is the most stars that we've had in a while. You got the Sammy and
homegrown stars,
Jey Uso, LA Knight, all these guys, Cody Rhodes, and it's
a lot of baby faces too.
Yeah,
when's the last time we had so many baby faces get over this?
But even the Judgment Days big right now, Dominic Mysterio. Triple H is getting the most out of his talent right now. It's just it really is a breath of fresh air compared to what we was getting in the Vince era. I don't want to just keep on knocking Vince, but it was rough. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. It was definitely rough.
I'm tired of the all due respect. I'm tired of the Goldbergs. Goldberg coming back is fine.
Yeah,
but
for that,
putting him in a world title picture is not okay. Like, Goldberg should be coming back for just novelty 3-minute squash matches.
Sure. Yeah,
I don't need him winning world championships. Like,
it's crazy.
Vince was relying on that. Like, no.
Yeah, it's crazy for most of the 2010s. Was the most of the Royal Rumble winners were guys who won it before. Like, ain't that crazy? Guys who won it like 10 years before. Like
Cena, Batista, Orton, Triple H.
Starter, man. And you see Triple H 1 year into his reign, by the way. It's just like WWE has been. It's just like they did a complete 180 ever since Triple H got in charge, man. There's so many starts. Fucking
he ain't
Bobby
perfect,
Lashley, bro. This man Bobby Lashley. When Vince was in charge, nobody cared about Bobby Lashley. He's like the most over guy on SmackDown right now.
Had that man kissing up on Lana, bro. Like, come on.
Oh my god.
Like, I know y'all remember that, bro.
The fact that these guys supposed to be turning heel, him and the Street Profits, but every time Bobby comes out, the crowd is going crazy. Bobby. Imagine somebody told you that. Imagine somebody, Bobby's gonna be the most over babyface on SmackDown. Imagine somebody told you that 4 years ago. You're like, what are you talking about? Who cares about Bobby Lashley, bro?
This iteration of like Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits kind of just remind me of the origin of the New Day and how they were supposed to be that like serious like group, and then like they came out with like, I don't know if you remember the whole like promo when it was like, I would think they were at like in church and it was like a gospel choir.
They were doing the preacher gimmick and it was not hitting at all.
It was not hitting, and then eventually they kind of just like found a way. Like, I feel like this team has a chance to just be a better New Day.
It's kind of like the opposite.
I ain't gonna say better.
Not
because the New Day, they're going into the Hall of Fame first.
I see what you're saying. It's kind of like the opposite in a way, because the New Day was supposed to be this babyface team, but the crowd started booing them, so they were forced to turn heel. And like this iteration of the Hurt Business was supposed to be a heel faction, but everybody keeps on cheering them. So it's like, what do you do? Like, you gotta make them a babyface.
As long as they get that reaction, it don't matter. Like,
I think eventually they gonna lean into the hillside. I think that's the whole plan of it. But
I need them to get a tag team championship soon. Like, that's why I was telling you in the group chat, like, they need another set of tag titles, but they won't have anyone to defend it against. But it's like, we need tag belts on them boys. Like,
they'll get it eventually. I feel like there's a few teams that it's been.
It feels like Judgment Day gonna have a little stranglehold on all these belts for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't think they'll have like an extremely long reign, just because I feel like it's gonna be something with Finn and Damien. I feel like there's something brewing there. But at the same time, Triple H is into the long-term storytelling too. Like, we could see this Finn and Damien stuff could last till WrestleMania. Like, maybe that's the plan, to have Finn versus Priest at Mania. That could be the plan.
I would love it.
Yeah, that could be the plan.
And that doesn't need to be for a world championship.
Be that briefcase, man.
I mean, it could involve the world championship. Like, one guy could cost the other the title, and that's how they get their single feud at WrestleMania. So, they could do it like that. Also, to your point about the Usos, that match doesn't need a championship either. Like, the whole story, like the brother versus brother, that sells the match. So that's why I say Gunther for the Rumble, because like, as cool as it would be to see Jay win it, that match doesn't need a championship. It's brother versus brother. That just sells itself. So I mean, it's a good problem to have for WWE, because they have a lot of different directions they can go in.
Yeah.
Usually the fall is kind of like this low period in wrestling, at least in WWE. Like, leading into Survivor Series, it's kind of like, all right, it's kind of like our end of the year. You know, we're kind of just getting ready for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania next year. That's what we're focused on. This is just like end of the year stuff, but they have the potential. Triple H has the potential to make these months matter, because usually they get their ass kicked by football. Like, we once the fall gets here, we just focus on football, especially on Monday nights. It's like Raw is always getting their ass kicked by Monday Night Football.
No,
we can actually like make, like, wrestling should still matter throughout the year.
No, I definitely agree. I feel like it's has the potential to kind of just like switch things up this year, just because like I don't know, there's like it's a lot of great talent, but they're gonna have to like have surprises in there that's gonna make you want to like keep you engaged and keep you interested. So I think there's a lot of potential there. I think I'm very curious to see how Survivor Series shapes up this year, just because like I feel like even like the team, like the options for like who could be a team versus who couldn't be on the team this year. Like the past couple years, it's been like bloodline.
Your mic, bro.
I'm here to 11.
It's
I'm like, bro.
I would say like the past 2 years.
You said 11.
The past 2 years, like the bloodline in particular has been like the focal point. Like they've had all those matches and stuff like that.
So you never know. He be getting off like
but I think this year because of how fragmented it is, I'm curious to see how that plays out. And then like they said with Royal Rumble, like there's gonna be a lot of great options, but then I also think it means that there's gonna be a lot of great stories to build up to WrestleMania because there can only be one winner, and there's gonna be a lot of great like people that need a match for WrestleMania. So I'm super excited because we get to have this WrestleMania. So it's like regardless of who loses Royal Rumble, that just means that we're just gonna have some fire matches because everybody needs to get they stuff off.
Exactly. The Judgment Day, the Usos, like LA Knight, like it's really between LA and Gunther for me for the Rumble. It's one of those two.
I think Cody's
I'm scared. I'm scared that LA is not going. Like, if he doesn't win it, if Gunther wins it, like, what is LA?
Cody doesn't need to win it. Cody already got the story.
He doesn't need to, but I think he's going to because I think it's just the obvious choice. I want to talk about.
Let him win the Chamber. Let him go through hell and win the Chamber to get the Roman.
I can see it. I mean, there's no bad options really.
Or I can see them do like a slow build where it's like Cody's about to win it and Roman gets involved because he knows he doesn't want to face Roman. He doesn't want to face Cody again. On some like kind of like how they set up the Brock Lesnar one. The Brock Lesnar when he lost to Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, and that ended up being the match.
Part of the reason why he got it. You feel me? Like I definitely feel like it's
that was because of Paul Heyman though. That was kind of like a Paul Heyman thing, right?
I think so. I think it was he went back with Paul Heyman and then Paul Heyman turned on him.
Yeah.
But no, like
something similar. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of quality options for this one.
Y'all got any final thoughts? You know, y'all all watched Raw last night, that Intercontinental Championship match.
Yeah.
You see Gable winning that belt anytime soon, Greg? I know he wants to keep the belt on Gunther.
It's just what I think they're going to do, bro. I probably would do it too.
I mean, he's going to break the record by the time we get to Fastlane, so it's like I wouldn't be mad if they pulled the trigger on Chad Gable. I feel like
I don't think Triple H is thinking, oh, we're just gonna get it past the record. I think he's thinking like we're gonna demolish this fucking record. Like we're gonna go so far past it. That's just what I think they're thinking.
But I don't think anybody else is gonna come close to that joint anytime soon. So it's like
we thought safe. That when Triple H, we thought Sheamus was the guy. Now we thinking Chad Gable's the guy. Somebody's gonna come along. Somebody always comes along.
I mean, Sheamus could win it from Gable at WrestleMania, or from someone else.
Gable have a good run too. I'm not. I would love for Gable.
I hate to keep using the word like earn and deserve, but it's like Chad Gable. He's earned it. Like he's put in the work. Like he's done everything the company's asked him to do. He's typically a tag team guy. We know like American Alpha and the history he had there with Jason Jordan. But I mean, he's getting over.
The
man is getting over. Like they involved his family into it now. Like come on,
exactly.
Bro.
You mess with a man's family. You mess with a man's family, he better win.
Like they Kevin Dunn put his crying daughters on television, bro. That was nasty work.
Remember when Samoa Joe was talking about AJ Styles' wife?
That was.
He better have one.
I'm not gonna lie. You bring it up. Bro, Samoa Joe should have won that.
He's another guy that should have like him and Shinsuke should have both been.
By the way, that's looking like the next feud, MJF and Samoa Joe.
I like that. I like how they built it on that draw, though. I like it.
Going back to Takeover Brooklyn all those years ago.
That whole
2017 or 2018. It was one of those Brooklyn years.
Yeah, I just love how wrestling just builds on each other. Like it's like
that's long-term storytelling across promotions. Like, love it.
Cementing MJF as that baby face. For sure, I'm with it, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But I want to talk about something real quick, and
Go ahead.
maybe
You
it's
can
just
finish with
something.
that.
Yeah, we can with this, but maybe it's something I'm just thinking a little too deep in. I'm starting to to jump off of the LA night train a little bit, and I don't know what it
Really?
is, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is, bro.
Don't let Chris hear that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was when LA Knight first came to the scene and he had this stuff with Bray. I was a huge fan because he just kind of like jumps out at you, right, with all the catchphrases and the years and all that like that. But the more this Miz feud, I feel like it kind of like exposed a little bit out of him, a little bit, like just because I feel like there's not like a like once you get past the catchphrases and the years and all that, I just feel like there's not really much deeper to him. You know what I mean?
I
In
was
terms of,
thinking the
You
same,
know what I mean,
John.
Bray?
I was
I
I feel
hear
like
thinking,
you.
Miz was kind of
bro,
carrying him in that feud, bro. I feel like there's not
bro.
really something deeper
Like
to
in
LA
terms of
Knight.
like just the promos or the match
Just to
The
itself.
him. It's
promos,
just
I'm
to
not gonna lie,
him.
the promos haven't been haven't been
They've been
equal in my
good, but
personal opinion.
I feel like at least definitely the first promo. I feel like Miz carried him through that first promo for sure.
Yes. I like the moment I saw LA Knight stuttering,
Yeah, like he's stuttering.
I
It's not the
say,
first time you've seen
yo,
him
Yo,
either.
he
Because
was stuttering. He was stuttering.
I feel like LA Knight is trying to do like the whole rock thing where he's trying to be all like all crazy and loud, and
let
then
me
I feel like
talk
he's like
to
he can't
you.
get through it. But
But
sometimes you just need to sometimes just calm down. Just calm down.
I
And just
gave him a
like
pass for that stutter because it's like you can tell the emotion. Like this is kind of like his
it's not even
first.
just a stuttering though. It's just like who is LA Knight once you get past the catchphrases and all that extra shit. Who
That's
is
It's
he?
fair. That's
They,
fair. That's
no,
a
You know,
fair
I think
it's
assessment.
that's what
facts.
we get into next. Like, who is this guy?
Facts is facts for that, but then it's also like I also feel like um his like I get bored watching his matches. Like he's almost like a watered down Miz, where it's like you know what I mean. Like as of
The
right
fuck
now,
said
like
about MJF, man.
I'm starting to watch these matches. Like even the when the during the Bray Wyatt celebration. Like in my personal opinion, I'm like, why did y'all let Finn Balor lose to LA Knight? Like, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
I
saying?
was
Like,
looking like that too, bro.
huh?
Not even that. I was telling that
I
needs to
mean, the
be winning
baby faces
matches
had to win
more.
that night, that particular night.
Yeah, yeah.
You had
I just
you
didn't
had
like
to
that
with
they
the
had.
baby
I don't
face.
like that they had Finn losing so much, bro.
You know what I'm
I'm usually
saying?
kind of
Like,
Finn's one of my guys too. I have a little bias with Finn. That's like one of my
it's,
And then,
guys. Like
all right,
that.
you
Come
say
on,
that,
man.
and then you get mad when I say he should have won the belt at SummerSlam. Like,
I don't think it was his time. Like even with my biases, even SummerSlam, I wanted like most of me wanted Finn to win, but I understood that it's just not his time. Like, I understand it's set time.
when is
But like
it?
the whole time I
I
was
don't think
rooting
he's
for
gonna
Finn,
have
bro.
his
When he hit
time
him with
again,
that,
bro.
he hit with the coup de grace. I'm like, yeah, Finn, go ahead, get him. Because Finn's probably my favorite in WWE right now, bro. Let's be honest.
I
But
just
like
like the way
I
Finn
just
talks.
just everything, bro. His
Except
if you
the
know Greg,
accent, bro. That don't be blowing
his
me. I ain't gonna hold
his
you.
last NXT run where he was NXT champion.
Bro, I was
Oh
just about to say
my
that, bro. I
god.
was just about to bro,
Oh my god.
and
His
he
second
only got
NXT
that
run, right?
because Samoa Joe got hurt, bro.
Yeah.
That's what gets me tight. That's what gets me tight. Like, come on, bro. Come on, man. Shout out Samoa.
Elite run.
Shout out
Yeah, I
some
just want to voice my concern. Shit. I just want to voice my concern a little bit with LA. Like, man, I'm not too
Yeah, I
worried
see. I
about it.
wish
I'm
Chris was
sure
here
he'll figure it out.
because he's the LA Knight advocate, bro. So like y'all two,
I was
next
too for a
episode,
minute,
I
but
want
I
y'all
feel
to
like
go
this.
back and forth on that.
Yeah, I was too. I'm not. It's not that I'm not an LA Knight fan anymore. It's just I feel like this miscue kind of like
Yeah, like
it
you
showed
see some
why he
flaws.
probably
Yeah.
wasn't champion in TNA and stuff like that. Like he got a little like I don't know. He got some work to do for sure, but he'll get it. I think he'll get it together. I hope he does.
No, for sure. That's valid. That's valid. But we gonna end on that. This is a great episode. We had a lot to talk about. Damn.
facts.
Episode 127, guys. NFL Week 1 is right around the corner. We know we're gonna have to talk about that. I think me and Johnny tomorrow are gonna record a separate episode just for the Eagles and breaking down their schedule predictions. So stay on the lookout for that this week. Also, I think all of us collectively as a group we're gonna break down our predictions. I believe for Week 1. I don't know if they want to do that or they want to do division winner predictions and the awards for this upcoming NFL season. But nevertheless, stay on the lookout for that. As always, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, leave a comment, share it to your folks, get the word out. Look, we only getting better from here. All right, episode at a time, day by day. We're getting better and better. I promise we're going to get some betting episodes out there too. I know people have been asking me about it. We're going to talk some betting as well for this NFL season. So stay on the lookout for all of that. I'm your host, John Wooten, for tonight. That was Scene, and that's Greg. And y'all be easy out here. Have a good one.